You find a high enough spot and you can see the Lunaris temple over the river, at the western edge of the city. Since the blackguards arrived, the clouds above that temple have been stained with the blackest of smoke. You can see it sometimes when the westerly blows. It stinks worse than death.
The Gemling Queen? She's... impossible. How did she survive? Why is she not one of the Undying? No, these questions can wait. There's a more pressing one. Is she safe from the Ebony Legion? You've been busy. With the spool back where it belongs, the ribbons should be able to keep the Ebony Legion at bay. We've both seen what they can do to a man. Whether you were saving your own skin or thinking of others, it matters little to me. You succeeded where I did not. You have stood in the presence of the Gemling Queen. I can only hope to meet her in my nightmares. Piety's a genius, sculpting mere human clay into divine gemlings. At least, that's what she told me when she opened me up and buried a virtue gem in my entrails. Malachi did the same in the name of the Emperor centuries ago. Chittis's gemlings still rule San. We call them the Undying now.
Citizens of the San that was. The Undying have been around for hundreds of years. Left to their own devices, they'll likely survive for hundreds more. Still, they're not immune to mortality's touch. They can be killed, with some difficulty. You found a way to the other side. Good, but stand no closer, please. Sewer with a tinge of roasted undeath. It's a powerful fragrance. Be sure to stand downwind of Gravicius' tent when you reach the barracks. You wouldn't want to lose the element of surprise.
Stay out of the shadows. They bite.
The way he moves, the way he gets all sweaty and glowy when he fights. I'd not complain were Vagan to find his way into my den.
Vagan has honed his physique to perfection, but one of these days his mouth is going to get the rest of his lovely body killed. I look forward to that day.
Vagan has a certain attribute that makes him most desirable as a soldier of God. He doesn't waste time on thought.
A kingdom may encompass many, yet needs only one man to found it. Or woman, for that matter. It is all about place and will. If you have the will, then I believe I may have found the place. Say the word, warrior, and you may have your kingdom. Whether he clads it in silk or steel, Vagan's heart is still that of a warrior. You are one that pays heed to your heart, warrior. If that were a common skill, then Rayclass would not be as it is now. The seed is nothing to look at while it lies in your palm. That is why Tarfor, father of the forest, gave us the power to dream. It is easy to forge a kingdom, harder to keep it. You will need allies, warrior. As you chose me, choose them just as carefully. Upon this table, I am able to shape the material and the spiritual. Forge armor that protects the body and the soul in equal measure. Given time and the guidance of the ancestors, I can teach you this art. If you feel worthy of such an honor, that is. Karui warrior must die in battle if he is to earn his seat at the table of the ancestors. It has been that way since the dawn of Karui. It will be that way until the dusk. Yet there is more than one way to skin a seal. The spirits you bring me, I return to the battlefield. Armor and spirit bound together in the service of the Father of War, Tukuhama. The ancestors know this, respect this. They welcome a fallen spirit as they welcome the dying man. That is the Karui way. The ancestors watch over you, warrior. Talamoana, warrior. The ancestors favor us, my ally. They have gifted a vision of another warrior soul, a lost spirit in need of our aid. And hurry, the corruption of this place. It twists flesh and soul in equal measure. For now, the warrior rests in the lee of the twisting tide, but his shelter is crumbling. He will not remain safe for long. Find this warrior and bring him to me before Kitava, the Black Spirit, consumes him.
That would only slow me down.
In the Kadui way, there is only one way to fail. Die having wandered from the path. You did what you could at the time. There is no shame in that. Next time, you will do more.
The Gravicious cockroach is no more. Another emperor crushed underfoot. That's what happens to emperors. What always happens. They never learn.
God gave this world to man. Exile.
Without men like you, Gravicious, this land might just start healing itself.
You are the true spirit of the Makoru, the shark. Not the cowardly beast that sinks its teeth into the lonely swimmer. You strike the Waikoama, The canoe, spilling a feast of men into the water. Hunters turned hunted, that you dine on at your pleasure. Have this, Makoru. There's still prey out there. An overreaching witch floundering out of her depth. Happy hunting, Makoru.
You've done for Gravicius. If only I could get word to that lad I smuggled away from the General's wife at the time. The good widow would need a sympathetic shoulder to cry on.
Gravicius dined with us once. This was before my father's gambling debts caught up with him. I dined with him again in Theopolis prison the night before my exile. He wasn't so polite that time. Thank you. That's one memory I can now put to rest.
Despite everything else you've done, to let piety live is to threaten the existence of every living thing on this continent. Look to the west of Gravicius's camp. You'll find piety in the Lunaris temple, cowering behind her desecrations. The Eternals revered sun and moon as the two eyes of their god. The right eye judging Solaris, the left eye merciful Lunaris. I can't imagine that god being overly merciful when she finds out what piety's been doing in her temple.
I have pursued a greater existence for us all. What have you ever done but serve yourself? It's selfishness that slaughters hope!
Your death doesn't fix anything, Piety, but at least it won't get any worse.
Wherever he is, I'm sure Tolman knows what you've done. I know you didn't do it for him, or for me. It doesn't matter. Piety's reign of cruelty is over. Thank you.
Piety dies amongst her abominations, her warped dream taunting her, maddeningly out of reach. As a poet, I'm fond of that creed of justice. Here, the executioner needs recompense. Unfortunately, piety was simply a puppet of a greater force. You've cut the strings, but the master remains. Dominus. That key you've picked up, I heard the blackguards talk of it. It's the one key to the scepter of God on the northern edge of the blackguard encampment. Only piety was permitted to carry it. Dominus accessed his laboratory at the summit of the tower via a pulley system rigged to the outside wall. That way will be barred to you. And I heard of no one, not even piety, going in or coming out of the lower levels. Go with care, Exile. I can't imagine what's inside that tower if even piety and Dominus feared to tread its steps.
When piety was experimenting on me, my consciousness was mercifully fleeting. In those moments of numbing darkness, I met a presence. Intelligence, power, immensity beyond the limits of my pitiable mortal senses. To this creature, I was but a raindrop falling into the sea. I heard piety speak to her lackeys of the beast. It is the source of her thaumaturgy and the object of her ambitions. I believe piety's beast and that dark entity are one and the same. Wherever it is, whatever it is, the beast is the cause of my malformation. It would not be a stretch of reason to consider the beast the source of all malformation in Rayclast.
You have claimed the most worthy of prey, Makoru. Piety, the mistress of corruption. I'm not saying the war is over, but you've given Rayclast a much-needed respite. Because of you, this land lives to see another dawn. And don't forget that you've done Grigor a justice of some magnitude. He will wish to speak to you.
Piety's off to meet the Maker, is she? I'd love to be a fly on the wall of that little chat.
The dead have taken quite an interest in you, Breather. They whisper to me of your exploits. Apparently you have found a place of peace in which to rest. Whilst I continue to bear the curse of life, I too could benefit from such a place. What do you think? Could my art and I avail ourselves of your hospitality for a time?
I've spotted that new hideaway of yours, by the way. Don't panic, that's what I do. Find that what doesn't want to be found. Hunting down your posse was no easy feat, so you needn't worry about anyone else spoiling your peace and quiet. Apart from me, that is, as I'm actually in need of somewhere new to sling my bow. How about it? Need some company?
We'll make an artist out of you yet, Exile.
We all need a quiet spot in which to rest and reflect, Crusader. Had a vision that hinted at you having found such a place. And me praying only last night for somewhere to polish and bless my trinkets in peace. Far be it from me to invite myself where I'm not wanted, but I'm sure you could find it in your heart to house a man of the faith.